Will this weather ever get any better? Why are some high pressures sunny and some cloudy? And Joe, what's all this we hear about a dead deer?
Hello and welcome to Square Raindrop. I'm Joe Wheeler.
And I'm Steff Golter.
And Steffi, you've got a great sign above your head, a thunderbolt.
I know, I feel I'm about to be struck by lightning any minute. No, it's a gorgeous sign that popped up on my Facebook feed, and who was I to say no? So yes, I am the proud owner of some weird glowing sign.
And the next thing that happened, you were struck down by the lurgy.
Maybe that's what happened to it. It did strike me down, but not in the way I was expecting. So there was no death. It was just a terrible cold. So yes, every day I thought tomorrow will be the day where I feel much better, and tomorrow came. And it wasn't the day I felt much better. In fact, I felt progressively worse. It's only today where I've woken up and thought, I don't think I need Nurofen today. Must be a good day.
And was this a gift from your gorgeous children?
I love them, but I hate their lurgies. So yes, it was. And I don't even know which one. One of them had to sit at school with a sick bucket next to him for the entire day. He asked to go to the sick room, but they said, no, too many children have been sick. So unless you're physically sick on me, you have to go and stay in the classroom next to a sick bucket. So he wasn't able to go to the sick room or come home. That was his symptoms, just feeling generally lethargic and not very good. And then the other one had 2 green caterpillars for about a week and a half, maybe longer. So that was lovely. So I don't know which of them I got. I didn't feel particularly sick, but I haven't had any caterpillars. So who knows? Maybe it manifests itself in different ways for different people. And I was just very lucky.
And I'm going to shout TMI on that. But when you talk about different things manifesting in different ways, we have had a question on the website, which I think is very pertinent. High pressure, in essence, has been dominating this week. Not that you'd know that, because it's hardly like we've seen glorious sunshine, overnight frosts, fog, that kind of thing, which you usually associate with a high pressure system. It's been a cloudy so-and-so. When you're looking at the pressure charts, which we do, and we kind of read them like a book, how do you tell which is which? When you've got high pressure, how do you know or predict which one's going to be cloudy and which one's going to be clear?
That's a bit like looking at a pressure chart and looking at a front and thinking that you might know whether it's going to bring you a lot of rain or a little bit of rain. It actually doesn't tell you. So the high pressure won't tell you whether it's a cloudy high or not. So it's a bit tricky, that one. It's a bit better for us now. We've got satellites since the 60s, because before that, it was really a bit of guesswork. But in this case, you get a high pressure, you cross your fingers, you're going to get sunshine. Often, when you get cloud trapped in it, it's winter, so a winter high. And that's what will give you, it just gets moisture trapped near the ground and it can't escape, it can't do anything because it's, high pressures generally in summer are hot things and they can burn away moisture or do whatever. In winter, the sun's so pathetic. It's like trying to heat something with, magnifying glass. It's just not worked.
Well, of course, what we've seen over the past few days is an easterly set-in, a Scandinavian high, which was the basis for the setup for the Beast in the East back in 2018. And being on the East Coast, of course, I'm very sensitive to that. Very sensitive to those easterly winds as well, which are perishing right at the moment. But it sort of looked on the very long range, which I know you don't like, that still colder air was going to make its way in. And currently that doesn't seem to be the situation. So can you explain why the easterly wind we've got now isn't going to bring the same conditions that it did 6 years ago?
Because of what's happening over Europe, basically, the winds can only bring what's over there to us. They can't, if they're over Europe, they can't suddenly go, oh, let's be even colder. It can only bring what's over Europe. And for some reason, what's over Europe at the moment isn't as cold as it was 6 years ago. There's also not as much snow over the continent either. So it's just not as cold, not as snow inducive, and we're not getting the beast from the east. But I have to say, some people are quite pleased about that, because that beast was quite mean.
That beast was awful. That was the one where I got stuck in the snowdrift. And no, I don't want to repeat that. So the prospect of very, very cold air moving in at the end of the week is now starting to go away. Even the easterlies start to ease as we go through the second part of the week. And from our point of view, weather's not exciting anymore.
No, well, at the moment, Joe, we do seem to be lurching from one stuck in a rut to another stuck in a rut. It's just different ruts. This rut is particularly dull and gloomy, though, I have to say. I am not a fan.
No, I think most of February has been a little bit grim. Now, just looking back, because we had some January stats, and apparently it was the warmest January on record. Explain that to me like I'm five.
It was the warmest January globally, but not here.
Okay. I'm fairly sure I saw some stats as well that said it was the sunniest January on record.
It was
Explain to
very
me.
sunny across many parts of the UK, but not here.
Okay. And not here either. And last but not least, we always take a look at the Met Office long range forecast, which I recall because you have to explain it to me in minute detail, said it was going to be milder, wetter, and windier. What happened?
Not here.
Okay, fair enough. Glad we cleared that up. Now, as we go through the next few days, with very little change in prospect right at the moment, certainly not until the end of the month when we start to see things becoming more of a westerly, which would be expected anyway. That's the prevailing weather in this country. But it seems like there's not much to look forward to. Any good news on the horizon?
The good news might be that half term is coming, so that will have to be terrible weather because it always is. And then maybe after that, I have my hopes. But that's not based on any kind of meteorology whatsoever. It's just based on the school calendar.
And the way it works. Now, I know you haven't done much for the last week because you've been suffering in your sick bed, but I have to claim a major victory.
Okay. Should I be scared? Because I do feel a little nervous, if I'm honest.
Well, I do feel this story is not going to turn out the way you think it will. So, from the very beginning, I have a second-hand sofa in what I call the snug. And it's a second-hand sofa because it's leather and the dogs go on it. Now, just the one dog. And when the one dog arrived, she was a rescue.
This is the wolf, the bear, isn't it? It's not
this
actually
is
a
the
dog.
bear wolf. Yeah, the very large dog. She I want to say attacked it, but no, I think if she was going to attack it, there would have been more damage. But fundamentally, the cushion came apart. Didn't rip the leather, did eat a bit of the foam inside, and pull a bit of the rest of it out. It looks a bit untidy. I'll put a picture up of that. Anyway, so I found this furniture repairer close to me, and I sent some pictures and said, could you give me a quote on fixing it? Because when all's said and done, I really like this sofa. Anybody who sits on it, it's like Sleeping Beauty's castle. They go to sleep immediately, including me. Yeah. So I wanted to get this sofa fixed, and they quoted me over £1,000.
Ooh.
Right. Now, I think this sofa cost me 250. So no, I'm not going to spend £1,000. And he said to me, he goes, however, he said, the reason why this costs so much is because it's a lot of work. We've got to strip down the end of the sofa. He said, so it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort. And I went, right. And he goes, but if you drop in, I'll give you some stuff to put in the cushion. He goes, and this bit of fabric that goes over the side. He said, and you can do it. So I did it.
Okay.
Right, I want a round of applause now.
No, I want pictures before I give you a round of applause.
Okay. So anyway, I sit here for a couple of days, literally sit there, sore amazed at my own brilliant work. I was so impressed. But of course, being me, I've left all the tools out on the coffee table, haven't I? So I'm thinking this morning, I must put those away. And so I'll take them out to the garage. So I went out and into the garage, forgetting that in the garage there is a red, dead, headless, hoofless deer.
Why? Why is there a hoofless, headless deer? Why, Joe? Why?
Well, it came from Norfolk.
That doesn't make it any clearer.
No, it doesn't. No, apologies for that. It doesn't belong to me. And also, I have to say, I was just asked to look after it for a while, and it has been very low maintenance, doesn't eat very much, doesn't move very much. It's just kind of sitting there doing nothing.
Lying, I would imagine. Lying there doing nothing.
And they said, this is entirely legal. It's fine. Basically, it's going somewhere else tomorrow. The bus is picking it up. But I had forgotten about that. And so I was a bit shocked when I went, it's the kind of thing that slips your mind easily, to be honest. Don't you think? Anyway, it looks like my daughter may be coming back tonight. Now, I neither want to explain this to her. Yes. I mean, you could explain to me, she'd be glad. Yeah. But my daughter's not going to be happy about this. That's where her cans of Pepsi live.
So you're okay telling me and everybody else about this, but not your daughter?
It's making me laugh. I've got such a burble inside. I have to tell somebody. But I can't have my daughter going in there, right? And I'm out at band tonight. So I found the garage key and I've locked it, barricaded it. And the dear, Rudolph, I like to call him, will be gone by 8:30 in the morning.
You can't call it Rudolph. Imagine. Joe, this is a terrible story.
I can't think of a better name for a deer. Can you?
No, just no. This is wrong on so many levels.
This is country living, love. This is country living.
I've lived in the country all my life. I've never had a dead reindeer living in my garden.
Well, I know, but the thing is, my neighbour, for whom I'm looking after this deer, he doesn't have anywhere secure. And his next door neighbour, who's fondly known around here as Pussy Galore because she has 28 cats, yeah, the cats will get in, and that really wouldn't be a pretty sight. So actually, the red, dead, headless, hoofless deer is safer in my garage than anywhere else around here.
Can I ask what your neighbour's going to do with it? Is she going to eat it?
Pretty much, I think.
Does it not need to be kept in a fridge?
Eventually, yes.
Oh, I feel quite unclean.
Well, it'll all be gone tomorrow. So that'll be the end of the story of Rudolph, or just the dead, red, headless, hoofless deer that resided in my garage for a day or two. In the meantime, not that the weather forecast is that interesting, but if you want a personal forecast, all you have to do is contact us.
Yeah, sorry, is that my cue? I'm still thinking of poor deers. Oh dear. Deer! Huh.